Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. Welcome to another deep dive. This week we're tackling the V75 at Åby. Okay, so let's break this down race by race then, starting with V75-1. The Diamant Stike Garden Leave. She's the talk of the town after that incredible last-second win last week. But she's starting from the 5th spot in a Volt start.
Yeah, the Volt start, that's definitely something to watch, especially with a horse like Garden Leave. You know, she's got a bit of a reputation for being, shall we say, energetic. And on top of that, she's switching back to a regular sulky, which could throw a wrench in things.
Right. So maybe not a sure thing after all. Then we have Hearts, who's been getting a lot of love from the experts. Ever since moving to the Hamry stable, this horse has been on fire.
You know, the Hamray stable, they really know how to bring out the best in their horses, especially when it comes to strength and stamina. And let's not forget the switch to the racing whip. That could be a real game changer. For a horse that was winning big with an amateur trainer, that says a lot about its potential.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point. Now, Åby Butcher is a bit of a wild card, big wins in Denmark, but then a more laid-back approach in that comeback race. What's the story there?
Well, those Danish wins were with special shoes, see? And those shoes are actually mandatory this week in Sweden. Some horses do great in certain shoes and others not so much. So it's kind of like trying to find the perfect running shoe for an athlete, you know? We'll have to wait and see how Åby Butcher handles the change.
Interesting. Okay, moving on, Pure Diamond caught my eye. The stats are hinting at some real potential there, even with a tough starting position. What do you make of that?
Pure Diamond's a great example on a horse whose recent results don't tell the whole story. If you look back a bit further, you'll see some very solid finishes. This is a horse with the speed to win. It just needs a little bit of racing luck to break through.
Right. So maybe some chaos early on could work in Pure Diamond's favor. Now, V75-2, the Class Trail Lifelong Journey, looks like the obvious favorite after that dominant win. But starting from the inside, can he hold on to the lead?
You know, the inside starting position can get a bit of a trap. Sometimes it's great, but other times those other horses can box you in and you're stuck. And the interesting thing is the data is actually pointing towards some of the horses with longer odds having an edge in this race.
That is interesting. Then your Stamsite, long odds, and coming off a bit of a tumble last time out. Is that a red flag or an opportunity?
Stamsite is known for explosive starts. If he can avoid another mishap, he could be a real contender. It all comes down to the driver's skill at this point. Can they navigate a clean start and get Stamsite into a winning position? That's the question.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, Alberty Wine, a lot of potential there, but maybe a little bit temperamental, right? Could this be the race where it all comes together?
Well, that wide starting position is definitely going to make things tricky. Remember, harness racing isn't just about speed. It's about strategy, about positioning. The driver needs to find a way to conserve Alberty Wine's energy and make a move at just the right moment.
Okay, so a lot riding on the driver's shoulders there. Then we have La Prisamata coming off a huge win, but can she do it again against tougher competition?
That's the challenge, isn't it? La Prisamata clearly has the speed, but can she handle the pressure of a higher stakes race? It's a step up in class, and that's always a test. It's like a rookie athlete going pro. Can they handle the intensity?
All right, on to V75-3. The Gold Division Phoenix Photo is the big name here, back after a break, but all signs point to him being in top form.
And the stats back that up. He's almost unbeatable when he's leading, and that inside starting position gives him a real advantage. It's like he's on his home turf, you know? He knows every inch of the track.
Okay, so Phoenix Photo's the one to beat, but Emoji's looking like a serious challenger. Maybe not as famous, but those wins in Denmark speak for themselves.
And this is where the driver-horse connection can make all the difference. Flemming Jensen, Emoji's driver, he's known for his strategic thinking. He can read a race, anticipate moves, and get the absolute best out of his horse. It's like a coach and a quarterback working together in perfect sync.
So we might see a real battle of wits in this race. Now, V75-4, the Larling Slop, this is where things get really unpredictable, right? Rookie drivers, anything goes.
Exactly. You've got these talented horses, but the drivers are still learning the ropes. It's like watching a group of talented musicians trying to jam together. There's a chance for brilliance, but also a chance for, well, let's just say some interesting choices.
Okay, so Esteban Barr looks like a solid favorite on paper, but with 14 horses in the mix, who knows what'll happen. Then there's That's So Clever fresh off a win, but stuck with a less than ideal starting position. Can they overcome that?
This is where the trainer comes in, Hanna Ladekortby. That's So Clever's trainer. She's known for being a real strategist. She's got a knack for getting her horses to peak at the right time, and she's especially good at helping them overcome challenges. Yeah, it's almost like she gives them that extra little something, to pull out when they need it.
I like that. All right, Borta Sankore, another name that keeps popping up. Apparently, this horse just loves those long distances, which could be a big plus in this race.
Oh, absolutely. Stamina is everything in a race like this. It's more like a marathon than a sprint. And Borta Sankore, well, this horse has got that engine to keep going when the others are starting to fade.
Okay, so think long-haul trucker versus sports car. Got it. Then we have Luca Barroso racking up the wins lately. Could this be a chance for a long shot to really pay off?
Well, on paper, Luca Barroso ticks all the boxes. The speed, the recent wins, but starting way back there with so many horses, that's a tall order. It would take some pretty amazing driving, a bit of luck, and maybe even some stumbles from the front runners for this one to pull it off.
Okay, so maybe not a safe bet, but definitely one to keep an eye on. Moving on to V75 floor, the classed foe. We've got Killer Journey, 2 wins, low odds. Sounds like a pretty sure thing, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But here's the thing about harness racing. Even the most predictable races can throw you a curveball. Killer Journey's been dominant, no doubt, but this race is shorter, which kind of levels the playing field. It becomes more about quick bursts of speed and smart maneuvering.
So maybe don't put all your eggs in the Killer Journey basket just yet.
Exactly. There are a couple of other horses here that could shake things up. Spirit of Love, for instance, lightning fast start, could snag a great position right out of the gate. And then there's the whole open stretch reins situation. Suddenly, they've got this burst of freedom, and it can lead to a powerful surge in the final stretch. Especially at Åby, with that long home stretch, open stretch reins can be a real game changer.
So Spirit of Love, with a fast start and those open stretch reins, could be a serious contender.
Absolutely one to watch. And then you've got L'Amiral Perpool coming all the way from Denmark with a reputation for strength and stamina.
We've seen a few horses coming from Denmark for this V75. Is there something about the Danish racing scene that produces these tough competitors?
Well, the Danish racing scene is known for its longer races and tougher tracks. It's like boot camp for horses, building up their resilience, so when they come to Sweden, they're ready for anything.
So L'Amiral Perpool could be a real dark horse in this race.
You got it? And then there's Lezonkungen, solid performer, but not the fastest out of the gate.
So he might need some help from the other horses to really shake things up, right?
Exactly. Lejonkungen's a good horse, but in this particular race, I see him more as a potential spoiler than a real contender for the win.
Okay, so on to V75-6. The Stodevigny Steel is the favorite, fresh off a big win, but starting from the back, that's got to be tough.
No doubt about it. Starting from the back, that puts a lot of pressure on the driver to make the right moves early on. Does he try to weave through the pack, risk getting boxed in? Or does he play it safe and hope for an opening later in the race? It's a real tactical challenge.
All right, so a lot riding on the driver's shoulders there. Love Silvio's another one that caught my attention. Didn't do so well last time out, but the experts seem to think that was just a fluke.
Yeah, Love Silvio is a horse that can win from the front or from behind. That versatility gives her an edge in a race like this. And sometimes a little dip in form can actually work in your favor. The odds might be a bit more appealing, giving you a chance for a bigger payout.
Okay, so maybe an opportunity there. Then we have Ernest Tindra getting a lot of attention. Apparently loves those barefoot shoes, and with a decent starting position, could be a real force.
Barefoot shoes, they're becoming more and more popular. They allow the horse to really feel the track, which can improve their balance and stride. It's almost like running barefoot on the beach, And Ernest Tindra, well, this horse seems to love it. Plus, Dwight Peters is in the sulky, and he's known from his aggressive tactics.
So we could see Ernest Tindra setting the pace early on.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit, Dwight Peters. He likes to be in control. He's not afraid to push the pace, which could make for a very exciting race.
And Peak of Glory, another horse that seems to thrive on exceeding expectations. Could she pull off an upset here?
Peak of Glory, she's a tough competitor, that's for sure. And she's proven she can hold her own against some of the best. But in this race, I think she's more likely to be fighting for a top 3 finish than going for the win. But hey, you never know with harness racing.
All right, finally we come to V75-7. The Bronze Division King OK is the favorite, coming off that surprise win in the Sylvester Loppet. But can he keep that momentum going?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Sylvester Loppet, that's a big deal, and King OK definitely rose to the occasion. But can he replicate that performance in a different race against different competition? It's like an actor giving an Oscar-worthy performance. Can they deliver that same level of brilliance in their next role?
Interesting analogy. So maybe some uncertainty surrounding King. Okay, then there's Deal Dunzat, consistent performer starting from the inside. Could this be a breakout race for him?
Deal Dunzat, he's a model of consistency, that's for sure. He's rarely spectacular, but he's always right there battling for a top finish. And in a race where there's a lot of uncertainty around the favorites, that consistency can be a real asset.
Okay, so maybe a smart choice for those who like to play it a bit safer. Then we have Darlington Fame, had a rough go last week, but could be ready for a rebound.
This is where you start looking for those little clues that might suggest a horse is ready to bounce back. Did Darlington Fame have a bad start? Was there an equipment issue? Or was it just an off day? Sometimes a horse just needs to shuck off a bad experience and get back to doing what they do best.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've gone through all 7 races, and wow, there is a lot to think about. It's like every race has its own little mysteries and surprises.
And that's the beauty of it, you know? It's not just about picking the fastest horse. It's about understanding the strategy, the little details, the strengths and weaknesses of each horse, how the drivers think. It's like solving a really complex puzzle.
Exactly, and with that 46 million kroner jackpot hanging in the balance, the stakes couldn't be higher.
I mean, this is the kind of V75 that could change someone's life. And the best part is, anyone can win. You don't need to be an expert or spend a fortune. It's all about making smart choices and maybe having a little luck on your side.
So any last words of wisdom for our listeners as they try to crack this V75 code?
I'd say trust your gut, but don't ignore the data. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. You know, consider those long shots that everyone else is overlooking. Sometimes the biggest rewards come from taking a calculated risk.
Love it. And remember, there are no guarantees in harness racing. But if you do your research, consider the expert opinions, and trust your instincts, you'll give yourself the best chance of winning. And most importantly, have fun. V75 is a game of skill and luck, and the excitement is what keeps us coming back for more. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into this week's V75 at Åby. We've covered a lot of ground, analyzed the contenders, explored the potential upsets, and hopefully given you some valuable insights to help you navigate this challenging but exciting race card.
It's been a pleasure, and I wish you all the best of luck in your V75 endeavors.
Good luck, everyone. And remember, whether you're playing it safe or taking a chance on a long shot, the most important thing is to enjoy the thrill of the race.
Until next time, happy betting.